Hello and welcome to this edition of the Express Pharma Nutrify Today Boardroom Series. Today we
Thank you.
focus on a very recent development in the nutra sector. Nutraceuticals in India, as we all know, are currently regulated under the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or the FSSAI. However, this February, the government formed a panel to review if nutraceuticals needed to be shifted to the other regulator, which is the Central Drugs Standards Control Organization, the CDSCO. So, what is the background to this review? And of course, the Nutra industry has been criticizing this move. To discuss this issue in more detail, we have with us Advocate Narendra Ahuja Vivek ji, who's currently Professor of Practice at Haryana's MBM University and is also an advocate with the Punjab and Haryana High Court. He retired as the State Drug Controller Haryana at the FDA administration after 32 years of service, sir. He also has the distinction of being associated both with CPSO and FSSAI. So he is very uniquely positioned to give us both perspectives. Ahuja ji, welcome and look forward to your insights. So nice that you can spend time with Express Pharma and Nutrify today.
Thank you very much. You have given me the opportunity to interact, and that too post-retirement, when the interaction is directly from the core of heart, and one can speak without any boundary of service rules, foundations, etc., etc. Your first question is why this review committee has been constituted by the government of India. What is the background of that? The background of this, what exactly I feel, it started with some Human Rights Commission note and order in which they have shown a concern that too in a specific area of Baddi or Himachal Pradesh, where many factories owners, they were licensed to manufacture drugs and foods, were found manufacturing certain counterfeit drugs of good brands having the brand values, drugs I am saying here, not the nutraceuticals I am saying here. But this is also true that those units were licensed to manufacture drugs and food both. And after that, the DCGI came up with a letter instructing the CDSCO inspectors and the state regulators of Himachal Pradesh to visit all those factories which are licensed to manufacture drugs and food products, nutraceuticals, in the same building premises, and check them, inspect them, and give them a report. A report was already there. They were there. They were manufacturing. They were caught red-handed doing all these activities. And then DCGI came up with another order, taking a clause from Schedule M. Schedule M is a good manufacturing practices for drug manufacturing license units. What exactly plant, area, building, machinery, etc. are required to manufacture the drugs and which comes under the good manufacturing practices. The note on the heading line itself in the Schedule M gives an exclusivity for manufacturing of drugs, saying that nothing else except drugs can be manufactured when a license to manufacture a drug is granted on that firm. Now the question arises, if that line was there since 2005, how these factories got the license from FSSAI and manufacturing nutraceuticals also? Then when we made a research on this point, then we came across one direction from the then DCGI in 2007, who has written a letter that for the manufacturing of nutraceuticals, the plant, area, building, machinery, even if they are licensed to manufacture drugs, can be considered by the FSSAI, giving certain things, these compliances are required to be made. Okay, then FSSAI granted the licenses to manufacture them. The nutraceuticals or the food products also in the same premises in which they were manufacturing drugs. Here, just to elaborate to all the listeners and the viewers, I take one very simplest example. Vitamin C, 500 mg is a drug, but vitamin C, when it comes in 1000 mg or 1500 mg, it becomes a nutraceutical. Many other drugs which were drug and which in certain other doses ingredients are bit different in quantity, then it becomes a food. Definitions are like this. Then these can be manufactured. Now, can you just think one thing? A firm who is licensed to manufacture vitamin C 500 mg is a legal thing and authorized, and he is holding a drug manufacturing license. Now the firm wants to manufacture vitamin C 1000 mg, which is not approved as a drug, but it is approved by FSSAI as a food product. Can he be denied? The same dosage form, only dosage different, and it was required at the time when the country was suffering with a pandemic and corona was there. At that time, the patient required higher doses of the vitamins, and that this nutraceutical came up to help the country from that. And when we go through these definitions of food or drug, these definitions are very, very clear. Either in section 3A, Ayurvedic drugs, section 3B, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the allopathic drugs, or 3H2, again, patent and proprietary allopathic drugs, or definition of food given in section 3J of FSSAI Act, or primary food given in section 3ZK of Food Act. They all the definitions. If we go through the definition of drug in section 3B2, it clearly says other than food. If a product is a drug, then it is not a food. Number one. Number two, similarly, on the same lines, the definition of food also says should not be a drug. There should not be any ambiguity in it. Clear-cut, demarked line should be there. When the regulator is not considering a product to be approved as a drug, but that product is required by the country and country is using, you may say patients are using, or you may say the people are using to prevent certain diseases to occur or to maintain their health, then it becomes a food. It becomes a food. Why this ambiguity is there? That was there, that few firms were found manufacturing something which is not permitted to be manufactured. Counterfeiting is not allowed. That comes in the definition of spurious drugs. But to catch hold of that thing, instead of enforcing the regulations, we may shut down the shutters totally, completely. I don't think so. That is the basic background which you wanted. I have explained it in bit more lengthy way, just to make everybody very comfortable that this is the background. Yes.
Right. So my next question is, how do other countries regulate, food and nutraceuticals? Is the food regulator different from the drug regulator?
That is always there. Food regulators in all the countries are different from the drug regulators. Yes. Similarly, in India also, it is different. One is Food Standard and Safety Act, and other is Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And drug administration is in the center as a central regulator. CDSCO is there, headed by Drug Controller General India, and the state FDAs are there, headed by the state drug controllers or their controlling authorities, whosoever it may be. The authorities to enforce these provisions of Drugs and Cosmetics Act for the purpose of regulating the drugs, for the purpose of manufacturing or sale or distribution or offer to sale, etc., etc. These are different. Similarly, food, then this is FSSAI authority, Food Standard and Safety Authority of India. Although both are situated in the same building, that is the connect there. Both are coming within the one, under the one ministry itself. That is the connect. Both are situated very near to each other. But I can say just one thing. They may be situated very near to each other, but for taking decisions, I don't know why they are very away from each other.
Okay, so do you? There is also a view that the nutra sector may need some heavier regulation, as there have been some quality concerns as well as reports about some brands making false claims. So, what do you say on this? That the CDSCO it has been considered to hand over to the CDSCO simply because the CDSCO and drug regulation per se is perceived to be more strict and of a higher bar and standard than food safety.
I don't think so. Why? I should give the reason why I don't think so. For the want of stringent regulations, then the regulations should be stringent. Not the regulatory agencies to be changed. One. Second, but you are saying that CDSCO is considered to be more stringent regulatory authority than FSSAI. I don't think so as such, because both are enforcing their two different acts. Their food authorities are enforcing their Food Standard and Safety Act, and Drug Control Department, Drug Administration, CDSCO, is enforcing Drugs and Cosmetics Act. And these are two different agencies enforcing two different acts. If the act is made stringent, then authority will automatically become stringent. Instead of shifting one industry from one side to the other side, which we will discuss if you ask the question whether it will be appropriate or not. But just for the sake that CDSCO is more stringent than food authority, I think it will not be a correct step, number one. Number two, without shifting it, if required, then we should not do it. Food should be administered by, controlled by, regulated by food authority, and drug should be administered by, controlled by, and regulated by drug authorities. That should be very, very clear.
And now we come to the other aspect of it. If it does go forward and nutraceuticals is shifted to the CDSCO, do you feel that the CDSCO has the right regulatory personnel to regulate nutraceuticals? It has already faced criticism for taking on the regulation of medical devices in addition to drugs. And the argument that the industry gives is that drugs and medical devices are different products, and the same argument would hold for nutraceuticals as well. What are your views on this? Adequacy of personnel and experience.
Yeah, give me some time to explain it in a proper way, number one. As far as the medical devices are concerned, medical devices initially were defined under Section 3B4 of the Drugs Act, meaning thereby the umbrella. Medical devices were drugs under the definition of umbrella of drug. And then we came up with the Medical Device Regulation 2017. And I was member of that high-power team which visited the USA for telling them that we are here with new regulations of medical devices. At the time of that regulation also, the country think of that also. And new drugs, cosmetic and medical devices bill also. It was the thought process going in the country that for different products there should be different enforcement agencies. And now the definition of medical devices is given in the medical device regulations. But just mind one thing, that in the act, not in the rules, in the act itself, till today itself, the medical devices are defined under the definition of drug under section 3B4. I am repeating this now. Therefore, unless and until we take this 3B4 definition away from section 3B of the definition of drug and we make it in some other section of the act itself to define the medical devices differently than the drug, I 100% agree with this point of view that medical devices are different products than the drugs. We even cannot think of. X-ray machine is covered under medical devices. Ultrasound machine is covered under medical devices. All the dental materials are covered in medical devices. All the type of IV sets, catheters, even needles, even syringes, they are all medical devices. Implants are medical devices. Can any rational person think that these are drugs also? But when we go through the act and strictly, legally speaking, as on date, they are within the definition of drug. We need to correct it. This was the one major reason why the country has taken the task of rewriting, revisiting a de novo Drugs, Cosmetic and Medical Devices Act, which is pending in the Parliament. And we are hoping that this will see the light of the day and it will be cleared by the legislature. Now I am coming to the main point. When we see that nutraceuticals and drugs, these are two different products, defined separately. Nutraceuticals, Food Standard and Safety Authority of India under Section 92, they have issued one letter on 29th of March 2022. They have notified Food Safety and Standard called Nutra Regulations 2022. Very latest, very recent. And in that, they have defined the nutraceuticals also. And they have clearly mentioned whatever is approved as a drug will not be covered under the ambit of nutraceuticals, as what is given in the section 3B2 of the Drug Act. Other than food, they have also saying other than drug, and they have mentioned the sections also, 3A, 3B, 3H. 3 sections they have mentioned. Whatever is covered under these sections and is notified as or approved as drug will not be covered under the ambit of food or the nutraceutical or food for medical purposes, etc., etc. When the things are very clear, line of demarcation is there, then why we are creating an ambiguity? As far as the counterfeit drugs manufacturing by 3, 4, 5, 6 units, I think we must take the most stringent action against those units. Not try to shift one set of products from one authority to another authority. It is not going to help. But stringent requirements, if we feel like, then must be there under the same act only, not under the different authority or different act.
You mentioned that there would be a lot of ambiguity, if we shifted from one regulator to the other. What would be the implications for Nutra companies in India if they had to rework their manufacturing standards, etc., to a new regulator, to CDSCO?
Yes. Let me explain. You want to ask any other thing in addition to it, or should I start?
No, in terms of the implications in terms of additional investments, infrastructure, etc.
Got your point. That's why I started earlier before you end up the question. Exactly, Indian regulators, as far as the drug regulators are concerned, they have notified a revised Schedule M. Very recently, they have notified, and that is going to be enforced, I think, with the effect from for 6 months. Time was given to the industries who are the major players having certain 300 crores, more than 300 crores of turnover, and few are given 1 year of time, maybe increased if the manufacturing associations or drug manufacturing associations are demanding for more time for implementation of this revised Schedule M. And as far as the nutraceuticals is concerned, till date, for manufacturing of nutraceuticals, they have nothing to do with the Schedule M compliances. Schedule M compliances are meant for manufacturing of drugs, not for nutraceuticals. Now, assume one thing, that nutraceuticals are now covered under the definition of drug, just to put them under the control of CDSCO. What it will do? The first implication is that the provisions of revised Schedule M will become applicable on those units itself. Whether these units are having the area building machinery requirements which are required for the manufacturing of drugs and not the food. They are two different things. No? One is food and the other is drug. For manufacturing of food, I may not require that much those types of plant area building machinery. But for manufacturing of drug, I require to avoid the cross-contamination, etc., etc. But for food, I don't require. This is the first implication, which I feel it will be very tough for the Nutra industry to make compliances of those provisions which are actually meant for manufacturing of drugs and not for manufacturing of food. And they may not be able to make the compliances, and they are not in a position to make the compliances. And third thing which I want to say on record itself, whether they actually require it. This was given only for drugs. Definition says these are two different things. Food is different. Nutraceutical is one type of food, and drugs are different. Then why the food industry should be forced to make compliances of the requirements which are meant for the drug industry? Then the other implication is that the food industry, which is growing fast, and rightly somebody told that it is going to become a $100 billion industry, whether it will then become, on the one hand, we are talking of ease of doing business. It may not become a closing the business. Same is the line for the medical devices. Medical devices is also a very fast growing area. And all these three, if they work together, they can do wonders. I'm telling you, COVID time. We invented the vaccine. But that vaccine was required to be injected. And for injecting the vaccine, for giving the vaccine, we required the syringe and needle. From where syringe and needle came? That came from the medical device manufacturing units. Why we forget their contribution also? And why we forget the contribution of food manufacturing units also, FBOs also, nutraceuticals also? Don't they provided the immunity boosters in the form of vitamin C and other also? Don't we think their contribution is not less than that? Whenever there are regulations, all the regulations in my country should work. Please note this line. They should work in addition to each other and not in derogation of each other. When we work 1 plus 1, you just look at the video. 1 plus 1 becomes 11 when we work in addition to each other. When nutraceutical industry and drug industry will work in addition to each other and allow the nutraceuticals to be manufactured in those drug manufacturing units where it can be safely manufactured, which the right decision was rightly taken by the then DCGI in 2007, allowing them to manufacture these nutraceuticals. I have given the example, I'm not going to repeat it. Then this 1 plus 1 will become 11 and our country will become a hub of the nutraceuticals also. Similarly, the medical device, to grow, we require to handhold. And this is called the hand-holding of each other. Sathi haath badhana, sathi re. When we handhold and walk together, it will be a better walk. And when we'll pull each other, then both will fall. Both will fall. We should not act in derogation. We should not pull the legs of each other. We should encourage both of them. And Prime Minister Modi is rightly speaking, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. In one building, both the authorities are sitting together, food and drug. They should work together to take the country on the top. We are generic pharmacy hub of the world. We should now become the nutraceutical hub of the world. We have the capability. We have the capability, provided we must handhold, we must work together, we must encourage each other. Those 3, 4, 5, 6 units who are doing the wrong things should be snubbed properly. Most stringent actions should be taken against them. But for taking action, we should not destroy total industry instead of giving punishment to 3, 4, 5, 6 industry. We should not punish the total industry. That is my line. That is what I am telling.
Right. And you said that the nutraceutical industry does have the chance to become $100 billion and that is also what the government of India wants. They have set up a nutraceutical task force to see that the sector, to ensure that the sector is worth $100 billion by 2030. And as you've said that if there are certain black sheep within the any sector, they need to be more stringently, more stringent regulations for those black sheep, cash them out,
yes,
and not, penalize the whole sector.
Yes.
That would be wrong. And penalizing the whole sector in this case would be, shifting it from one regulator to the other, creating a lot of ambiguity and, and turmoil within the industry. My last question to you is, what is your opinion in terms of the next steps that the nutraceutical industry should take? Should they prepare for a new regulator, or should they, kind of self-regulate and, make a blacklist of those companies or the units where these kind of practices were going on? Because let's also understand that nutraceuticals are long-term use products. They are available OTC, off the counter, unlike drugs, unlike medical devices, which in most cases are prescribed by a doctor. So, what would you say should be the next steps for the nutraceutical industry given this?
My suggestion, since this is the last question, I must sum up with the suggestion and way forward. My suggestion to the nutraceutical industry and way forward for the nutraceutical industry is, number one, instead the government go and catch the black sheeps. Nutraceutical industry should, in a confidential manner, report to the government that these are the black sheeps and we don't want to be punished as a complete nutraceutical industry for these 2, 3, 4 black sheeps, and we are pointing it out to you itself, because industry knows, we know what are the mistakes within us. If we are open with the open mind, then we must report these black sheeps, and they must be punished accordingly. One. Second is thinking of that the government is going to change these nutraceuticals from nutraceuticals to drugs, and nutraceuticals will be defined not now as a food but as a drug. I don't think the government is going to do that, because it will be very tough for the nutraceutical manufacturers to make compliances of the revised Schedule M, for which the MSME of the drug sector is also asking for, that we are also not in position of doing that too. Third, no law should take the retrospective effect. I want to enforce a law, then it is enforced only from the date of its notification, not from those units which were licensed earlier for manufacturing of nutraceuticals. And now on one fine day, no one can say that no, now the nutraceuticals became drug from this date, and now you have to obtain a drug manufacturing license and you have to make the compliances of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act revised Schedule M, which is notified and made public by the government. I don't think this is going to happen. And in the revised Schedule M, which was mentioned, and in this note itself, the last line was that it will not be applicable on the units which are licensed prior to 2001, because they were aware of this fact. If this is challenged, then it is not going to stay in the scrutiny of court of law. Therefore, I don't think that nutraceutical industry is going to be shifted to this CDSCO or under the Drug Act. Obviously, but one thing is very clear: nutraceutical industry cannot make drugs under the ambit of or in the garb of nutraceutical industry should not make and cannot make drugs under the garb of food. That is very clear. And lastly, when we manufacture quality things, then nobody is going to enforce a stringent law on us to manufacture a quality. Self-regulation is the best regulation, provided we are ready to regulate ourselves, since this nutraceutical industry is growing industry. Therefore, the good nutraceutical manufacturers, they are expected to manufacture quality nutraceuticals for export purposes also, and to make it available for our countrymen also. Then I don't think anything which is against the interest of nutraceutical industry is going to happen, because we want to grow our economy, number one. Number two, we want to increase the export, we want the foreign exchange, and we want the quality products. for our countrymen, provided that we are not indulging ourselves in such counterfeiting activities which become the basis of all these discussions. That is my sincere advice and sincere way forward for the nutraceutical industry.
Thank you, Ahuja ji. A very sane advice that you give, that self-regulation is the best regulation, and the industry must come forward to kind of segregate out the black sheep, so and stop those practices, and so that it's a deterrent to future, malpractice as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Ahuja ji, and I hope we will continue this conversation on other issues as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.